Hey, team players, and welcome back to this episode of Local Football Flavor. We're going to be doing two drafts here for you today, both on Underdog with obviously their half PPR setup here. Really excited because there's been a lot of things going on that are a lot of exploits that we've been pointing out here. One of the things that we introduced here on Monday, which if you didn't watch, check it out, is our methodology for our rankings, which is wildly different than ADP. And to summarize it into one simple concept, all that matters is weeks that you go above the vast majority of people. So in a best ball, all that matters is your top and high weeks, and that's what we ranked based upon. Makes it an amazing thing. We really don't care about floors here in best ball, so let's go out there and win it. So with that being said, Bob, let's bring you in here. Is there anything you want to focus on for today's episode?
And we're starting to get some flitting remarks about free agents. Just a couple notable things to keep in mind here. Number one, not a free agent, but Bucky Irving might be used in a Bijan-like role.
Love that.
That's good for that value. Probably going to see him climb a little bit. Alec Pierce and Shaheed are on the Raiders' radar, as they should be.
Everybody should be on the Raiders' radar.
Mac Jones is a potential trade candidate, according to Matt Barrows. He might go for a day 2 pick. You could absolutely smash that button for the Vikings if that's the case. There's a chance, according to ESPN's Turin Davenport, that the Titans could keep Ridley, and they might want to add Wandale with Daboll being there. So that would push down guys like Io Manor and Shamiri DK for me, personally. Deshaun Watson is settled the lawsuits against him. And for now, Shadur has the runway to be the Browns quarterback for the early fall, which does not count out the fact that maybe Deshaun Watson will play this season. And David Njoku said on Instagram that he does not want to return to the Browns. So there is a lot of room there for some interesting things to happen. And also Clint Kubiak will be calling the plays, according to Clint Kubiak, in the Raiders organization. So
Bob, why don't we fire one up and answer these questions for dynasty questions we're getting sent to us while it's loading?
Hey, what's happening, family?
Let me know when you're ready to click that enter button, Bobby.
All right. I am clicking enter now and confirming now.
4 more left.
What'd you say?
Said 4 left in the room.
Yeah. So 10-man Superflex Dynasty. Would you send Josh Allen for Puka? And family, you're in a lot of Dynasty too, so you can certainly share your thoughts about this question as well. The other quarterbacks are Dak, Goff, Shook, Penix. Bonus question: would you send a 2027 first for Tucker Kraft in a 1.5 point tight end premium league? So first things first, if I'm holding Dak, Goff, Shook, and Penix, I absolutely would be on the side of going after and getting Puka. The reason I say that isn't because I don't value, I think Josh Allen is basically like your number 1 overall super flex player. But in a 10-team league, because you have a little bit more flexibility at the quarterback position, I do think that you absolutely should move into a top 5 wide receiver, if not top 3 wide receiver in Puka. I think that at the end of the day, you're still going to gather points from Dak, Goff, Shook, and Penix, particularly Shook and Dak on most weeks, I think, this year, that you'll be okay as long as injuries don't happen. You'll be okay with that. And I agree with you, family, that in a 12-team league, I probably wouldn't do that just because the amount of quarterbacks left off on the table in case injuries and things were to happen isn't as many. But knowing that you have 4 quarterbacks there in Dak, Goff, Shook, and Penix to cover the blow of losing Josh Allen, and you're getting a top flight wide receiver here, I'd absolutely do that. Second bonus question, Ryan. And here's the other reason why I would do that too, is that, considering points and everything, is that in the Superflex League, You have these 4 starters potentially right now. And what we have seen so far this year is that Shook and Penix have the chance to hit a threshold number of like 23, 24 points in a week. We don't know if it's going to be as consistent as a Josh Allen is capable of doing. And we know that they're not going to go so much over the threshold of 40-ish points, but we know that Puka can. So those numbers, you're replacing and moving into a player that you still have replacement level value on your bench to take over in case, in the case that you're losing Josh Allen. So I would do that. Then goes to your other question here. A 2027 first for Tucker Kraft. It all depends on where you're at. Just like family suggests here. If you're at right now and you said Tucker Kraft is going to be the guy that takes me above to the next level, I would heavily consider that. If I have the chance to win this year, I would consider that. But what I would also do is I probably wouldn't make that decision right now. The Josh Allen decision, I am comfortable saying, yeah, I would do that right now. But for the Tucker Kraft decision, I might leave that on a table for a little bit and consider, because it is a 2027 first, you don't need to make that decision right away, Ryan. So
you can ride that all the way to your draft. You get to poke and prod and manipulate a little bit because your draft isn't going to happen until after April. There's no point in rushing this one.
And especially when you consider contention or not contention, there's so much to think about there. I would hold off on the Kraft. I'm tempted by it, but I'd hold off on it because I think that Kraft is very valuable. And
Kraft's incredibly valuable. Hey guys, we're doing a little board. There's 3 spots left. Do you guys want to jump in with
us? Family, to Ryan's comment, rotating through the matchups, keeping Allen means you choose your quarterback 2 every week. You could deal Penix because I realistically, Dak, Goff, and Shook could be enough to get you there. And then when we look at this, before we get to family's question here, is there any other wide receivers you would send Josh Allen for? I think owners would be interested.
Oh, we're the other ends of the board today, Bob.
Slam that jamma.
Slamming salmons.
So who would I ask for Josh Allen? There's only like 3 guys that realistically in a super flex league that I'm trading for Josh Allen. One of them is Bijan, one of them is Jamar, and then one of them is Puka. I think that realistically speaking, that if you got anything less than one of those 3 guys, you'd be selling yourself short in a super flex league. Realistically speaking. Definitely a win now team. The other the tight ends are Kittle and Ferguson. Yeah, I mean, knowing that I would still wait, and I would see how the tight end market for in the offseason here works out. Because if I'm really looking at it and saying like, if Njoku lands in a spot, do I have to give up my 2027 first? And could I just go after Njoku instead? Those are the kinds of things that I would think about. So I'd wait a little bit till free agency settles down, Ryan, to make the decision on Tucker Kraft. And even then, because it's that 2027, you can kind of wait until your draft, or you could wait until August and say, well, maybe I don't want to make this decision now and I want to make it later. And I think you can probably do that.
In general, wait. Unless you have a home run deal, you should wait. That's my general rule for all trades.
And as family has done multiple times before, if you are wheeling and dealing picks and you think that you can get more picks back for other players that you have, for example, you deal Tucker Kraft for a first. Then let's say you deal Penix for a late first or an early second in a super flex league. And let's say maybe you decide that you got Kraft, so you move off of Ferguson, just like family suggests here. You might be able to move some players here. But with it being a 10-team league, there are going to be 20 tight ends conceivably that are rostered, and they're all going to be probably at least 10 of them worth doing. Remember, you're only looking to break a certain threshold there with the tight end, and I think Ferguson gets you there on a bi-weekly basis, and Tucker Kraft definitely gets you there. With the injury, I think maybe Kittle would be the sell for me out of that grouping of players. And family's dynasty deal of the day, Joe. The dynasty deal of the day. Joe's making his first pick here.
I am.
The board is
about to take something that's going to about make me throw up in my mouth, but the rankings have them there.
That team's a whole bunch of vomit on your shoes.
Right? I know. London
You hate
Genty,
those guys.
baby. A jet going through London.
Family sent Stafford, DJ Moore, and Rachaad White, and got back Tucker Kraft, Dobbins, and 3 into 2 again. So I like trades like this. You know that, family. And this is the type of stuff, Ryan, that I think that is highly considerable, that you should look into, is that moving a couple of these players for some value and buying into some players that maybe have a downtrend right now, but could see a definite performance upgrade depending on situation. Thinking about the Alec Pierces of the world, he's a guy that's definitely on people's radars at the moment in time. Also looking at DK Metcalf, how will that coaching change work? You could definitely see yourself buying a little bit more in a DK. And if you're a win now team, is it so totally bad to go after players that in a couple years might not be working their best? Maybe, there's always something to think about. So there goes Brock Bowers. In DraftKings yesterday, Derrick Henry was going in the 3rd round, which was shocking.
I've always believed Underdog was sharper.
Shocking. All right. Well, you know what I'm gonna do because my boy's on the board. I got to take my boy.
You take your boy, damn it.
Take your boy. I mean, this might be a 3 running back start, but I don't really like the wide receivers on the comeback. I don't really like the running backs on the comeback either. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take Bucky.
Love Bucky.
And we're gonna go 3 running back start with this one, guys. We're gonna go Jacobs as well.
Oh, Bob doesn't normally do that.
I don't do it. And as I've said before, every little board that we have done, there has been something that we have changed about the dynamic of the way to build a team. Now, what I have seen a lot of in these drafts from the first position is 3 running backs in a row. But also what I have seen at that position also is people building a lot of Olave and Nico combinations, Olave and Rice combinations, Olave and Pickens combinations. And Bucky often doesn't get pulled up to that point. So getting a little bit of variance in there with the 3 running backs, having these 3 running backs, I don't know if that's going to be as common in the early little boards here as an Olave Pickens grouping with Bijan. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at on that. When you have an aging team that just won back-to-back titles, I'm seriously considering offering, wait for it, CMC and Saquon for Omarion. Family, I'm not going to say that you're crazy, but I am going to say, what's up, Bones? I am going to say that, and I've said this phrase twice today,
2 of the 3.
I'm going to say that I don't think you're wrong. When you're rebuilding and you have a chance to get something at the caliber that Omarion can be, it's almost like, almost a similarity between Schrodinger's cat and this scenario here is that what CMC and Saquon give you. You don't know a full season that Omarion can give you. I would hold them for now. I would at least ride CMC into the ground. That is the player that I would, but you have to know, and what we saw from this past year is that CMC did see a downturn in his rushing output, but not in his pass catching output. Saquon saw a problem. It was problematic for Saquon from the perspective of that he wasn't getting as many quality attempts. Okay. So you look at and you say, okay, well, there isn't a lot of quality attempts that happen there. So how do we juxtapose that versus Omarion, who their offensive line always gets hurt? So for me, I might hold them for the moment. I would at least hold CMC because he still has great production levels from a pass catching perspective. but Saquon might be a sell from me from that perspective, because I'm not entirely 1,000% sure that their offensive line is going to get any better. And that concerns me greatly. So that's something that I would definitely consider. And I think that Omarion has showed, oh man, this is perfect. I'm so happy right now.
Omarion has showed that he can go all out, as Bub's losing his mind.
Has showed that he can go all out. And so for me, I'm all about that. And Bones, this is a funny thing. So I troll Reddit on a regular basis, at nighttime when my little one's asleep and when my wife and I aren't playing a game or eating dinner or something like that. And there was a couple people on the best ball forum on Reddit that were like, "Oh man, I just started drafting Underdog," and I just want to say, like, we've been doing this every year, like sickos.
Yeah,
from the beginning of January, whenever these tournaments are up in the divisional round, like just straight sicko. And it's
a beautiful way to live. Unlike drafting Jets.
And I would not be mad about that, right? Not be mad about that. The guy has 3 stud running backs, Genty, Omarion, and Achane. And family, it might be an opportunity to get Achane too. If he believes more in Genty and Omarion, you might be able to steal Achane from him, knowing that the coaching staff is changing. A Saquon and an Achane, I wouldn't be mad about that either. If someone believes in Saquon more than Achane with the coaching shift. I
can definitively say I've never built this team before. I'm very happy about it.
So family would have Cook, Hampton, and Benson. I don't like the Benson end of it. But I think that when it comes down to, information purposes, I would keep one of the two, CMC or Saquon, and then moving it. Yes, this is what I would do. I would move Saquon because realistically speaking, both Saquon and Achane are probably going to have similar-ish weekly outputs based off their production. And Saquon's going to get it by running 27 times. Achane's going to get it by catching the ball 6 times. These players, they're not so much different than people want to perceive them to be. But I think that Achane's opportunities will probably get a little bit better. Fuck. Okay. All right. So now. All right. We pulled up QJ. I did not take a tight end there. I could have taken Tyler Warren. I thought about it. But I do value QJ very highly going into this year. And it could burn me. It could absolutely burn me. He might not be as productive as last year. Alec Pierce still on the board there, but I am still kind of not a fan of that value where it's at. Wow, an early Dallas Goedert. That was weird. Somebody knows something. Still building Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. I don't believe Dallas Goedert will be back. So that's a personal opinion.
It's personal take there. I'm not sure about that one.
I don't think they're going to sign Goedert back, but they have a lot of it is very plausible that Alec Pierce could end up in Philadelphia, and that would be terrible value for him if you're drafting him.
Well, not if Brown leaves.
If AJ Brown leaves, you absolutely could see them signing a wide receiver, right? Like, it could happen. Hey, new owner, it's important. Teams are coming along. This team is a team that I can definitely say that I haven't built. I have built Joe's team plenty of times. I don't
know if you have exactly like this.
In its structure. I
definitely never built a team like this.
Definitely in its structure, not in its form. But we're doing
there you go. Structure in the form.
All of you loving your winter went to a small outback town yesterday. My car, when I went to leave, 110. Family, I hate winter. There will be not a time from my mouth that I will say that I enjoy winter. There's not a bone in my body that enjoys it. I actually get like really bad dry hands as well in winter. My back hurts. Like, don't give me 110. I don't want 110. I'll tell you that. But if you give me like, I don't know, like 60, 70, sure, rack it up. I'm fine with something like that. All right. No, I don't have that. Don't have that. That's okay. All right. We're going to go Brock. And we're going to go. I'm not playing this crazy game. We're going to go Bo Nix.
Oh, get crazy with me, Bob.
We're going to hit double tap quarterback there. I don't normally, like I said, every team I've double tapped these quarterbacks early, I hate it. But I like where I'm sitting at right now, and I feel like I can do it. And looking at the rest of the board, I don't think I would get a quarterback on the way back, to be honest with you. Because team 7 or team 6 doesn't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback. This team 11 has one. Team 9 has one. So I think at least one more is going to go off the board. Am I okay on missing out on Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers, DJ Moore, Michael Pittman? I like Michael Pittman, but I'm okay missing out on that. And the other thing, too, when it comes to winter, is that all of the snow has tried to melt off my roof. But the other thing is that my neighbor put snow all in my yard. So it's just a mountainous mass of ice that I tried to break apart yesterday. It's miserable. Like, our city sucks. I like, if winter didn't come with 4 or 5 feet of snow, that's cool with me. Like, if it snowed every other week for 2 inches at a time, I'd be good with that. Like, I wouldn't be mad about it. But I also like 60 degrees. Jamie, I love you. Facts. But here's the other thing, Jamie. Like, spring and Australia weather, that has another beautiful moment. Yoga pants, skirts, all that stuff, So, Joe, gross.
I'm living gross out here, man. I'm on my own little island. Not sure what I'm doing exactly.
You're building
running backs early.
You're building the Bob special with DK Metcalf, Javonte Williams, Kyle Pitts, and Tony Pollard. I can't escape that guy. I told you guys, every time I draft at the back end, he is the best available option.
Pollard. Yeah, as a fourth running back, I'm about to hit I'm going to definitely end up with at least 8 receivers on this team.
Like, it's hip to hit the crazy wide receiver button, Like, and I know our rankings aren't like huge fans of Bo Nix and Brock Purdy, but I think value wise where I got, I'm not mad about that at all. All right. We're going to we're going to have to hit wide receiver here hard too. All right. But we're going to go Tyrone. And then we're going to take, I like what I saw. We're going to take Jaden Higgins. I like what I saw from Jaden Higgins this year. And the other thing, too, is that, like, when you look at the board, and for everybody watching right now, like, you'll see me doing various things. You'll see Joe. You'll see other drafters doing different things to try to get a little bit of an edge. And I think right now, as the board starts to normalize a little bit more and a little bit more at every point in time, we're starting to see, the strategy of bringing people up. So
I'm all about that world.
What's up, WFN? Bringing people up to create a team that is slightly has a variance to it, while not going like super crazy, but knowing that you're not going to have the opportunity to get that guy.
The later you go in the draft, the crazier you can get, Bob. Let's be real.
but not being able to get that player on the comeback, but building how to build out your way to balance your team. Family, Barkley at 2027 second late for Achan, or I could float it for Hampton and settle for Achan. I can toss in Adonai Mitchell type to dress it up. I like that. I would be 1,000% off for that. I don't think you're offering something that's not attainable either. I think that like the value is there for the person to be curious enough about it. Tossing in the Adonai Mitchell would definitely make the person very curious about it.
I'm curious why you're so curious.
Yes, we are on vertical mode too. When Joe goes live, when Joe presses the live button, he has the option to do vertical and horizontal. If you're on your phone,
both, baby.
If you're on your phone, the vertical's better. If you're on your laptop or you just like the horizontal better, you can also click that on YouTube as well. Everyone's worried about J. Jeff. No one's talking about Addison. What do you see for him? Buy low. I do think Addison's a buy low. And I would go for Achan first, but if you like Hampton better, Hampton's situation is better. So if you prefer Hampton, Hampton's situation is better, and you can shoot for him. I don't see a problem. I think both are fine, and I like both personally. So Achan, I think, carries a little bit more value, but I think Omarion can definitely get there as well. But when I look at a guy like Jordan Addison, he's a player that pops for me, in a couple different kind of scenarios and ways. And after my pick here, I'm going to kind of, I'll talk a little bit about that. All right. So we're going to shoot for Juwan here. And then we're going to build in Jalen McMillan. So one of the reasons why I think Addison is a player that's worth buying is that while I hate drafting him because he has just issues with staying out of trouble, and that really bugs me when it comes to player positions. He has the value to be very successful. And one of the things to keep in mind, so just going into last year, which was, again, a very poor season by metrics for J.J. McCarthy. But when we look at the games played with Carson Wentz, for example, we're looking at 4 receptions for 114 yards, 8 targets, 5 receptions on 6 targets for 41 and a touchdown, 9 for 12 for 128. Then we start to get to the J.J. McCarthy, but there's a game in here where he does 5 receptions for 10 targets, or on 10 targets, which is, because of J.J. McCarthy's poor accuracy and the similar numbers of past quarterbacks before. But you look at this situation and you say, there is a framework that Jordan Addison with a capable quarterback will be a smash at his ADP value, right? Like, I think that when you consider Addison and you look at guys like Myers, Boston, Moore, and Pittman, Addison and Pittman are the guys that are head and shoulders above that grouping for me. Because Jacoby Myers, second year in the system, yeah, he could be really, really relevant. Denzel Boston, who knows what he's going to perform like. DJ Moore, we know that he can be super relevant, but how will he be used, and does he leave Chicago this year? So when I see that and I say, okay, Michael Pittman might resign, they might put a tag on him, whatnot. He might have another year of the contract too. They might restructure his deal. They might cut him. There's all this framework that they can go with Michael Pittman. They could trade Michael Pittman as well. Jordan Addison is at least safe in the degree that, that he's probably going to see the field as long as he doesn't get into trouble, right? And he has the potential to smash for over 100 yards if given the proper amount of receptions. I'm not sure Jacoby in the system is going to do that as relevantly. I don't think DJ Moore in any system is going to continue to do that. And Michael Pittman is very much a touchdown kind of dependent player. So for me, I'm willing to take chances on Addison, and I'm willing to take chances on Addison to the degree that, like, in Dynasty, if I have the ability to pick him up for cheap, I'm absolutely going to pick him up for cheap. So, like, that's kind of my viewpoint on Addison, and I think that he's actually going to be relatively successful this year. So I don't really have an issue with getting him. I'm just not drafting him too much in these early best ball scenarios. All right. So right now my team is Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Bijan, Bucky, Josh Jacobs, Warren, Tracy Mixon, Flowers, Waddle, Quentin Johnston, Jaden Higgins, Jalen McMillan, Juwan Johnson, Theo Johnson. A lot of Johnsons. But yeah, I'm very comfortable with my team right now. Jamie, my current slow draft, I waited too long for my second quarterback, so I'm stuck with either Bryce Young or Cam Ward. I have Jane Daniels as my number one, so should probably grab a third like Rodgers. I like Cam Ward personally. I think Cam Ward is going to be set up to be in a really good situation. Knowing that Dable is there to kind of mold him, and knowing that Dable did actually want to draft him and stuff like that, I think that he'll be very relevant this year, especially if they get a wide receiver or two in free agency or the draft, or they develop the wide receivers that they have. I think they're, from a line perspective, they really put resources into developing that line. Their defense is still mid to trash, so there's going to be opportunities for Cam Ward to throw the ball. And if he can continue to build on his accuracy and continue to sling it around, I think that at least in a given year, I think in going into this year that you are going to see a lot more 18-point performances or higher from Cam Ward than lower. So, like, if you can walk yourself into, a 20-point week from Cam Ward, or a 21-point week from Cam Ward, and you waited to get him, I'm absolutely there, right? He's in a great situation. Coaching staff loves him. Coaching staff wants him, which is another factor for most quarterbacks. The coaching staff wants him. So I think that, all things considered, that situation is something to really capitalize on. In that situation as well, I don't think Rodgers is going to be very relevant as a third quarterback. I think that Rodgers is a tad bit of a waste of a pick. And if I'm gonna waste the pick, I would want to waste it on a quarterback that I thought could absolutely, like, smash beyond smash. Who would that be? Maybe you can write a story where maybe a team drafts Marcus Mariota, or maybe a team trades for Marcus Mariota, or they get him in free agency and he goes and he steps in and has some great games. He can put up 24-point games too. Let's say we look at it and we say, oh, there's a couple choices here. Which round are we in? Are we in the 17th?
We're in the 16th round. And Bob, I can honestly say that, with the exception of maybe Coleman, every single one of my guys are the definitive number one on their team. It is hard to build a roster 15 people deep that can do that. And Coleman should be the number one on his team. That is a statistical anomaly I'm building.
So when I look at it and I say, who do I want to take later? You could always take chances on Tua or Kyler or Jacoby. They have the skill set at this point in their age and career to get you more 20-point weeks than Aaron Rodgers right now. And so for me, we don't even know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We don't know if he's going to be in the league.
We don't know if he's going to be in the league. So taking a guy with we learned our lesson last year with Mike Williams, guys. Mike Williams was a wide receiver. We were drafting a good bit in the 20th round, saying, he has a chance. He ended up retiring. That was a dead spot on your roster all year. Mm-hmm. So he didn't show you that much this year to say that he was going to be absolutely relevant this year. he would have to fall really, really hard. And Derek Carr was one of my guys last year. You guys know it. I drafted a lot of Saints teams with Carr, Olave because he was cheaper, Jawan Johnson. I told you guys that those players could be successful. It's just that I had the wrong quarterback. Those players were successful, but I didn't have the quarterback, so that team did not do well. So that's the kind of the framework to look at and say to yourself, it's like, you know, do I want a guy that's close to retiring? And that's what kind of keeps me away a lot from Mike Evans as a wide receiver. While I want to smash that beyond belief, it just keeps me further and further away because it just feels like nothing's going to happen.
You just like smashing stuff, Bob.
I do. But like that, it's just, are there better guys to take chances on? I think probably yes. One of them, like, you know, there's been so much talk of Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he feels like he's on the verge of retirement too. But he played well enough last year that people are saying he might get signed to a contract. If he's behind a good offensive line, why the hell not? You know, like shoot for the moon. And if you fall amongst the stars. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
All right, we're going to do something. We're going to do something silly. All right, we're going to take Tez from everything that I just said. Then we're going to draft team quarterback white boy, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is probably going to be on someone. It's probably going to be an opening day starter.
And again, like, this is a team that I probably have not drafted a lot of. It has 2 tight ends. That's going to stink if one of them get hurt. It happens all the time. But like I said, if I'm over the course of the season, if I'm statistically losing out on that tight end position, it's not as bad as it makes it out to be. But if I lose out on that quarterback position, it's a little bit worse. Just because you can get a higher, you are statistically more likely to get a higher outcome score from a quarterback than a tight end, obviously. So I'm willing to take the dive. I like my team, Joe.
That's good.
Best team I ever got? No. Do I like him? Yeah. I drafted him in Startup Dynasty, retired 12 hours later, just picked him up in 4 leagues. Yeah. Amari Cooper, right? We were talking about Amari Cooper, Joe, that one year. I can't remember what year it was. Especially in redraft, people picked him up. He sucked. Flacco to Indy for 8 weeks while Daniel Jones recovers. That makes a lot of sense to me, Joe. He was there before. He showed that he could be successful before. And by the way, Joe Flacco loved Michael Pittman, I believe.
He did.
Until Michael Pittman got hurt. So I'm just going to look up that stat really quickly so that we can be on the up and up. I'm trying to get this video to not play while I do that. Okay. So if we go to stats,
I was going to hate this team. I weirdly kind of secretly love it.
Secretly love it. Okay. So when he was with Indy, he had 1,761 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And that was 2024. So if we go to Michael Pittman in 2024, stats. Okay. So Pittman had 808 yards and 3 touchdowns in 2024. So, you know, not his best season ever, but I mean, that was also the season he hurt his back and was not playing like to the best. But he's still there. I mean, like, so yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh, I'm on the clock again.
Last pick, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant? Okay, we're going to take this boy.
Royals. Yeah, he was on my list of Mr. Irrelevant's candidates.
Yeah, and like I said, like, you look at the tight end grouping there and you see Evan Ingram, Gesicki, Arroyo, Sinnott. I could have taken one of those guys, but I'd rather deal with 9 wide receivers, knowing I went wide receiver a little bit later. I think any of these guys could really pop off for a smash week above the tight ends.
Love it.
If I were to take a tight end in the last round there, it would have probably, honestly, it probably would have been either one of the rookies or Cole Kmet, depending on how they see what that situation is going to look like. Kirk Cousins still available in the last round here. Tua still available in the last round here. So even if you wait this far, there's still going to be value there. So, I mean, that's something
Fields
to think
is
about.
even still there.
What'd you say?
I said Fields
Yeah,
is even still there.
Fields is crazy. I've drafted him a little bit.
Dipping the
Can you
toe
see
in,
the Tua
thinking
cover?
about it. See how it feels.
Joe, can you I want before we pop over to our next draft, there was the end of on Monday. I'm going to share my screen really quickly so you guys can see what we're talking about here. At the end of Monday, we were looking at Spot Track here, and we were looking at the capability of these fun kind of trades happening, and we plugged into the system on their trade machine here. We plugged into the system the viability of that fun trade that we had come out in our brains. And you're going to look at this and you're going to say that trade, although fun from a categorical perspective, does not make sense from a money perspective.
No.
Like looking at the
here's
assets,
the thing. Miami's in cap hell.
Yeah. So looking at, Joe, you snuck in Frarmuth, by the way. Nice pick.
I did.
So when I look at this and we say, is this possible? We look at this trade right now. And
I don't think Miami can trade trade Tua. I don't know if they're going to start Tua, but I don't know if they can trade him.
When you see this phrase here, the team lost cap space after this trade. The team lost cap space after the trade. Then you go and you look at their current cap space. And you say, okay, well, Miami is sitting here in what kind of cap space do they have? They're one of the worst in the league, minus $23 million. Then you look at Arizona and you say, okay, Arizona's positive, but do they want to take on that cap space with Tua? Is that the player they want to use that hill to die on? Because when you look at Arizona from the perspective of cap, they have a lot of things they probably need to fix here. I'm blanking on where they're at. Where did they go? There they are. They have a lot of things they probably will want to fix going into next season. And so when you look at just the cap hit percentage, Kyler Murray is their biggest cap hit. And you look at the rest of their team, there's not a lot. If they move on from Kyler, they're going to be losing some money here. But they're going to be eating a huge dead cap for this year if they cut or trade him at 50 at that price point, right? And they're losing less next year. So it could be a high likelihood that even if Kyler Murray
could be a post June 1st cut, so they split it to $25 million across both years.
Yeah. So if you look at Kyler's cost here, family, as we were talking about, if you look at the cost of Kyler's right now, is that if you get rid of him today, okay, you're saving yourself. You're losing $2 million. If you get rid of him between March and June, you're losing $24 million. But if you trade him,
it's the same as if you cut him today.
If you trade him after June, you're not going to lose too much. You're actually saving some. All right.
Yeah, that's why he'll be a designated post June 1st cut.
So then you go before we get to our next draft, we go and we look at Tua, and we see Tua sitting here where he has $99 million in dead cap.
If you cut him right now, yeah.
If you cut him right now, $99 million. So
That's
the
why
Dolphins,
That's why you can't trade him either.
the Dolphins would lose $42 million if they traded him right now, which means that he will also, if he is moved, he will also be designated as a June 1st cut.
Oh, no, he's not cuttable. His is too big. And actually, if he retires, it's the same as if they cut him right now. It's the worst.
They'll lose $11 million. But if they wait till next year and they do it next year, you look at the savings, right? So
yeah, he's playing in Miami this year.
While we think it's fun that could happen, the likelihood is that he is the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
That is the likelihood.
With that being said, boy, Ray, click start.
Yeah, let me pull up a draft. All right, so we're gonna rack up another little board. Anybody that wants to come on in. I'm clicking enter right now, and I'm clicking confirm right now.
2 more left.
2 more left. All right. See, that's coordination there. So yeah, so Tua could. If Tua retires, boy, they still have to give him his money. But
no, not quite. They don't have to give his money, but the cap hit is still hell.
They're fucked if that happens.
That part's true.
But honestly, he probably still plays, to tell you the truth. But that's also why I don't think they have the money to sign Malik Willis. I mean, everybody's projecting that the Miami Dolphins will go after Malik Willis, and I don't think they can. I don't think they have the capability in terms of cap room to have Malik Willis. And then also,
it all depends on the contract you give Willis.
Yeah, but they don't have any money to be flexible.
That's the biggest issue. They're going to have to gut a lot of things, but they can't.
I mean, they're also eating $20 million from Jalen Ramsey, $10 million from Terron Armstead, $1 million from Jonnu Smith, $1 million from Matt Judon.
Well, that's the dead money of this year. That won't be there next year.
I mean, they're eating that this year. So I mean, like,
yeah. Well, and what they eat this year actually does carry over to next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
so they'll have a little bit of life because of that.
And then when you look at it, when you look at Tyreek's another one of those guys where his dead cap going into this upcoming year is $28 million. And he's going to be 30.
I got the 3rd pick and Bob's got number 7.
Nice. Is that if he's released now, they're actually going to, the way that his contract works, they're actually going to be saving money. So Tyreek's going to be gone 100% from the Miami Dolphins this upcoming year. The question is will Tua, because they do have Quinn Ewers, will Quinn Ewers be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season? I just don't think they can afford Malik Willis. And I also don't think that Malik Willis is good enough for them to want to take him over tanking for 2026 and going for a quarterback in 2027. Realistically, right, Joe? Like, let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
So if the Jets, if they go after Malik Willis, it doesn't make sense for them to go after Malik Willis. They already have Malik Willis, and his name is Justin Fields. So, right, Joe? I'm not crazy.
Willis is a better passer than Fields.
I would agree.
He's a better runner, but he's definitely a better passer.
I would agree with that, but they're both not phenomenal.
If I were a Jets fan, I'd rather have Willis.
Yeah, but
Willis can get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But again, I do not think of Malik Willis that as highly as many other people do. I mean,
well, here's something that's going to piss people off. I have JT rated ahead of Gibbs.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. But the Jets have a lot of cap space, so they can do a lot of stuff with their cap. Ideally, what they should do is move Justin Fields to the athlete position. If they move him to the athlete position and just use him, oh my God, nice. And and use him as he should be used, I think that there'll be a more dynamic offense. How do you feel about that, Joe?
I don't know if he can catch or not, but if he can, the answer would be yes.
I mean, at least at the running back position. I mean, everybody's saying, oh, they're going to lose Breece Hall. But if you split reps in the running back room with Justin Fields, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis, I mean, that's still – Justin Fields is a fabulous runner.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's a runner coming through the tackle, though.
He's fairly dynamic. Well, yeah, but they use him in an athlete position. He's not running through the tackles, right? So, like –
listen, you're expecting the Jets to do something well, and that is a futile effort. And
but I think they're going to stop believing. The problem with getting Malik Willis is they're going to have to pay so much money. And is he the quarterback you want to invest in?
I don't think you're going to spend so much money to get Malik Willis. I think that's the fallacy of your thought process.
Lies. Have you seen the cost of quarterbacks?
Yeah, but it's going to be a contract that Fields basically just signed, where it was $20 million up front and basically no consequences for getting rid of him. It's going to be a prove it deal where all the guaranteed money is in the first year. It might be a big number, but it's not a long-term death squad if you get stuck with it, like Tua's was, because it's a longer deal.
Mm-hmm. There goes who I wanted.
Malik.
I wanted Derrick Henry, but what position are you in? You're in the 2 hole. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the Taylor pick. I think I think it's spicy enough. Throws a little wrench into people's plans, you know.
Oh, there goes Jeremiah. I love me some Jeremiah.
Taysom Hill, but with a better arm. Yeah, probably. There's a Jets former first-round pick in jail for murder. What?
That doesn't surprise me.
It's not Mark Sanchez.
He tried to murder that guy. He was too high on coke.
Oh well, the Falcons have a guy that also is in jail right now. Pierce. He was their number 1 pick last year. He tried to run over a cop with his car and like broke the cop's knee with his car or something like that.
That doesn't end up well.
No, like that shit's wild. Malik Willis becoming a free agent in literally the best time frame imaginable. Guy won the lottery. Family, this is and this is how I feel about remember what's his face? The other Green Bay quarterback when this happened. Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn came out and they gave Matt Flynn an exorbitant contract for what he had been doing. And
then Russell Wilson took that job.
3 years, $26 million for Matt Flynn, right? I think I got what you were saying, Jamie. I think that theoretically that if I'm the Jets and if I am Caroline or not Caroline, if I'm the Jets or if I'm the Dolphins, I am targeting exactly this spike. I have absolutely no issue with a team wanting to get Marcus Mariota as a fill-in guy. As a one-year bridge, I don't feel like Marcus Mariota as a quarterback, from a fantasy perspective, he can be exceptional at times. From a actual quarterbacking perspective, he's not awful. And he's going to be cheap. I mean, you look at his career. He's 32 years old. He's been in the league for 10 years, okay? He's never, like I said, he's never been an exceptional starter by any means. And back in 2016, he did have a good year, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But yeah, that is exactly what I was saying in my head, family, actually. Because I had Jacobs and Bucky on my radar. I also had a wide receiver on my radar there, but when Bucky fell, and again, Bucky submarined me last year because of the injury. But again,
Bucky's a dude, though. Bucky's a dude.
when you see reports that the coaching staff loves them, the coaching staff wants to do this, the coaching staff wants to do this, I'm buying that. Okay, like I'm not saying no to it. I am investing in that again because I do think that when you have someone saying that you could be used like that you can be used like Bijan, I think it's fair. And this is a click that I don't do often. It's Trevion Henderson. I don't do that click often. We're gonna experiment with this team a little bit, starting off with a 2-2. Do I think Trevion Henderson is the best 4th round pick? No, I absolutely don't. I often think that he's the worst 4th round pick in these early best balls because the situation is undetermined. But statistically speaking, if the markets are saying that Henderson is this high, then there is a belief system within the market saying that his situation could improve.
Well, I thoroughly believe that.
So, I mean, do I like that? Do I like that pick that I just made? I don't. Do I think that his situation could absolutely improve? Yes. So this is Joe, can you see? We can't see your screen.
What? What do you mean you can't see my screen?
I don't know. Can you see the screen, family? Can you see Joe's screen or do you see my screen?
You see the draft picks.
Yeah, hopefully.
You just don't see my queue. You see the draft board.
Yeah. You're going Waddle. Waddle Metcalf. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Well, they weren't coming back to me.
You whore burglar.
I don't normally come out of 5 rounds with just one running back.
I know it's quite unusual for you.
We'll see how this one shakes out. I wanted to put myself a little out of the comfort zone.
All right, so we're left here. All right. All right, we're going to go. You know, this is the other thing. You guys know Henderson and Javonte usually don't end up on my teams often. But I'm willing to try something here. The reason behind this is that, again, I showed you a way that you could draft a team where you went wide receivers a little bit heavier earlier. I've shown you that a bunch of times. Here, I'm probably going to stick pat with these 3 running backs. Are these 3 running backs better than the 3 running backs I started with last time? No. Having my first running back be Bucky here, but the wide receivers could definitely ping me a couple more 25-plus point weeks. So I'm absolutely going to I'm happy to invest in that. Quarterbacks here, guys, are not flying off the board. That's unusual.
No, they are not. And I am a little bit of a fan of that.
Whenever Fumbles McGee comes. Yeah, Joe is 1-3, and I am the 1-7. So if you can't see it, I'm the 1-7, the 1-3. Quarterbacks are not flying off the board as they have in the past.
They are not. There's no other way to say that.
We're gonna click on Marvin Harrison there. Haven't clicked him in a while. I am happy with that pick. The only thing I don't like taking with Arizona, and again, I've pumped the brakes on Arizona because, again, the coaching staff that went into Arizona, I'm not like a huge fan of. So that's definitely something to be anxious about. The Jamar owner got Joe Burrow. If somebody doesn't take Jaden Daniels, he might get Jaden Daniels too. I did that a little bit earlier, stacking up the Joe Burrow with the T. I played a little nice there, Joe. We could have taken Joey B.
I wasn't taking B.
No, I could have.
Well, you should have.
He has Higgins and Chase. We gave it to him.
Being nice is not how you win, Bob. Building the better team is how you win.
I didn't want Burrow for this build.
See, that's a better answer.
Oh, there goes Daniels. All right. The Ricky Pearsall in the 6th, I'm not understanding yet at this point in time. I'm just not there yet. Ricky Pearsall. I get it. I get that he has the potential to be successful, but I'm just not there yet.
I'm going to take one of Bob's boys here.
You do. You know what? That was mean.
I needed a running back.
That was really mean.
I really need a running back. You have 3 of them.
All right.
Fannon's your boy, though.
I like Fannin, but he's not who I'm taking here. That's the reason I didn't take Joe Burrow. I do think that when the season's said and done, that Caleb, Burrow, and Dak are probably going. And again, injuries always play a role, but if everybody's healthy, I think those 3 quarterbacks do have the potential to really light it up in their respective offenses, and their numbers are not going to be primarily rushing numbers. They're going to be primarily passing numbers. All 3 of those quarterbacks have a chance to throw for 35 touchdowns. So like I'm okay with that. In this draft, I have not drafted a wide receiver. I have 3. So the last one we really pounded it on. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm not just gonna screw a guy over because I
mean, don't screw him for the sake of screwing him.
Yeah.
You're happy with your Dak pick. That's the end of it.
Oh.
So here's the part of my build where I'm going to have to take. I have 4 guys that are probably all condensed, and for the build I want to build, I got to take one of them around a legitimate round early, and that's what I'm going to do.
I almost clicked dart there to go with Malik Neighbors, but I decided to go tight end there with Laporta because I figured, Laporta, Pitts, 8th round value there. They're definitely within their purview to pop a 15 point, 18 point. And the thing about Laporta, the thing about Kraft, and the thing about Pitts, particularly Kraft and Laporta, is that Kraft and Laporta are touchdown hogs for their offenses. So when they get the opportunity, when they're scoring points because they've scored touchdowns. And when I'm looking at tight end, I do want tight ends that are going to be relevant in their offenses in that format. 3 quarterbacks for that guy, 1 running back. Don't love that. But you can see what I was talking about. That's a Bijan Pickens Rice team. We see that all the time. All the time. Shook.
Love myself some Shook. Plus, I got a Olave.
Fair.
Really easy to throw a Juwan Johnson at the end here.
Yeah, but everybody's doing it, man. Everybody's doing it.
I don't care if everyone's doing it.
All right.
Bob, I don't care what other people do. I'm cool about
I don't care what other people are doing. I just don't care. All right, we're going to see what quarterback's on the board when we come back because I'm probably going to take another quarterback. The next 2 picks are probably going to be quarterback, tight end. Just and then filling in the rest of the gaps where we need to fill them in at. I do think that, like I said, I do think that a guy like Dak is a pretty strong performer. And when he scores in bunches. And I'm also comfortable if I'm to wait on quarterback to get a second quarterback to get a guy like Cam Ward, because I think when we look at the quarterbacks right now, Joe,
I think Cam Ward has potential.
Some of them have a chance to score 30 points, but Sam Darnold to Cam Ward being a full 30-point ADP, I would much rather have Cam Ward, and that's me even saying that, even though I have Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't know if I'm really ready to invest in Sam Darnold at that ADP. Just a personal opinion preference more so than anything else, I think. All right. So, okay. That did not work out, so I didn't get the guy I wanted. So we're probably going to push ourselves in this direction. How many tight ends have been taken off the board there? Okay, you haven't not taken one yet. Right. And the other thing too, that's a wild card. Like I said earlier, like Dallas Goedert is such a wild card because he is a high performing kind of tight end when he gets the ball. If he ends up in like San Francisco, like the Jake Tongas play would be like a terrible play at that point in time. All right, we're going to click Ferguson, seeing that the tight end pool is kind of going the way of the dodo there. Yeah, I'm mad about that. I'm always mad about that. Family.
You're an angry person sometimes.
Trade just went down. I'm not in it, but thoughts on Debo for the 301. Take Debo's potential with Daniels or roll the dice on a rookie. I would not have personally. I would think that Debo would be worth just a smidge more than a 301. But when I look at what Debo can do, Debo's older. But again, Debo's going to have the potential to be really successful if given opportunities. We know that Debo's opportunities went down once Mariota came in, and they weren't as good as when Jaden Daniels was in. Taking a look at those game logs, and we'll do that after I make my pick here. Jalen Coker really flew up the board too, Joe.
Yeah, I don't get that. He's doing it all at the expense of Leggett, which, Carolina is a poorly run organization. Let's just start with that as a factoid. But Leggett's more talented than both of them.
Well, I mean, he also eats raccoons. So
listen, if Carolina says Leggett's on the trading block, there are about half the league who would improve their number 2 receiver by having him.
So when we look at Debo, week 10 against Miami, he catches a touchdown, didn't catch another touchdown from that point on. And so, that's around the point in time, I believe, let me go the week prior, that we started to see Marcus Mariota threw 2 touchdowns to Debo, week 9, week 10. And then, we start to see things kind of peter. We especially see things peter with like when you're against good defenses. And not all the games with Marcus Mariota were great, but 4 out of 6 for 27 yards, 3 out of 5 for 43 yards. There's potential there that if Daniels is healthy for a full season, Debo will be a great play, especially considering his current ADP. So if you can get him for a 301, a 2.8, something like that, I don't really have a very big issue with something like that, personally speaking.
I like that you don't have personal issues, Bob. That makes you have joy.
I mean, Debo can be an exceptional player if given opportunities. He has to have the opportunities to be successful, though.
I think Debo's done.
He could be. But when you see games in there of 8 for 11 for 96 yards and a touchdown, again, the more opportunities he has, the better the outcome is for him.
Dude, I like that guy grabbing Ayuk and Dobbs. Getting free agents is a good play.
I don't like Ayuk.
Oh, I do. He's going to be in a new situation where people are going to like him. He's going to have to perform.
Doubtful.
There's a lot of
presumptions there.
Hey, you're talking about 12th round pick.
Spike, I absolutely agree with you. There haven't been many drafts where I've taken Bashal Tootin or Corum or both of them. There's a problematic kind of viewpoint in that scenario. Oh no, you lost your boy.
I did.
So there's kind of like a problematic viewpoint in that scenario is that there's the presumption that Bashal will take 100% of the snaps or 80% of the snaps or 70% of the snaps. And the other presumption also with Corum is that Corum is going to continue to split evenly. And while I think Corum will do that, and Corum does have some value in the touchdown markets, I do generally question if, as a team, if they want to invest in that, right? Do they want to continue to load down Kyron's work and Corum? Because if that's the case, then Kyron would be the guy that's overvalued, sitting there in the 3rd round. But Corum in the 8th round, it just doesn't hit for me. I mean, he can, but the other thing though is why Corum for some people is a better pick than where Bayshall is that we know that running backs on good offenses are running backs that we want to invest in.
Oh, yeah.
We do not want a bruising running back on a terrible offense, because when at the end of the day, no matter how much we like Quinshon Judkins, if the Browns can't get into the red zone, he's not going to get you points.
Yeah. He got 1 million carries last year. It was super effective until it mattered.
So that, for me, that plays a pivotal role in how I generally view this year's players, right? And it's also why I'm not slamming the button on 2 or 3 rookies at a time. I'm still taking some, but also I'm being cognizant of the fact that, there's value to be had in every round. There's also different positional ways to build the team. If I'm taking Blake Corum in the 8th round, then I will want to have most likely better options at running back rather than ETN and Swift. Because what we know about ETN particularly is that his outcomes are also extremely varied. And same with Swift. Drafting 3 guys that are essentially very dependent on the same outcome happening, which, you can view that how you'd like. All right, we're going to go. And you can't get me not to click Joe Mixon. That's going to be a wasted pick eventually, but
you haven't gone receiver to many, many a moon, Bob.
I have not gone wide receiver since Xavier Worthy in the 9th round.
How many do you have on your team?
4.
Oh, bro.
Again, I did not say that I love this team immensely, but what I do know is that what I'm looking for out of the wide receiver has already passed, right? I'm looking at where are the wide receivers that can give me a game over 20 points. And right now, outside of maybe Judy, McMillan, and Tucker, maybe even Adonai Mitchell or Tesla, I don't really see that. Trey Harris, I like. Calvin Ridley is so interesting to me. Does he stay? Does he go? Does anybody care? that's the other thing. Does anybody
I believe Ridley's getting cut. So I don't think Ridley's going to stay in Tennessee, which is why I took Dyke. I think he's their number 1. Or DK, sorry.
Sometimes you just need a body. Family, I feel that.
Don't we all, family?
Laurie Horton is the body. He is the body. But back to this. When we look at where Bayshall is, he's getting drafted as an immediate replacement for Travis Etienne at the 7-10. I'm not saying that Bayshall's not extremely talented. He's oftentimes can be climbed up to the 6th round as well. I'm not saying that he's not extremely talented, but what I'm also saying is that I do not think that he carries the full workload. So knowing that outcome could happen, I'm absolutely not clicking that button as much as other people are clicking that button. Same thing goes.
Click away, baby.
Same thing goes. Like, you know, I'm gonna say it because he's gonna be one of my next couple of picks, and I don't think that your pick is coming up.
Well, no, you have two for me.
But if Malik Washington gets to me, I'm taking Malik Washington. Why?
He's the guy literally at the top of my queue.
Who?
Malik Washington.
Yeah, I mean, if I am considering the possible outcomes for Miami going into this season, Malik Washington profiles as a very good replacement for Tyreek Hill.
Sure does.
Right? And so when we talk about picks, right, I would definitely do something like that. Team needs running back. Send Malik Washington, Dylan Gabriel in the 312 for Brian Robinson. Caleb Johnson's just need running back dice rolls. I like the Brian Robinson dice roll. Had I not taken Joe Mixon, where I took Joe Mixon, Brian Robinson would have been my dice roll. I thought about taking Trey Harris, Torrey Horton, and then Brian Robinson this round. So I am absolutely a big fan of the Brian Robinson dice roll. We have to remember that Brian Robinson is who he is. He's not an exceptional running back by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But he's not going to kill you if he's on your team. Right? You're not going to his usage dictates that if you're going to use Brian Robinson, you're going to use him in the role that is the bruising touchdown kind of dependent role. And when I look for the running backs down here with that potential, right? That's one of the reasons why I took Sean Tucker. It's one of the reasons why I took Zach Charbonnet down here in the 13th round, is that those players, even though I have Bucky Irving, those players were primarily used in ways that would get them touchdowns. And if I'm looking for where is 15 points going to come from a running back at this level, it's either going to come from a starting role. It's either going to come from that starting role being they're taking over for an injured guy, or it's going to come from catching a lot of passes, right, and being relevant in the passing game, or it's going to come from touchdowns, right? There's a framework where all of that could happen for some of these players, but, you know. Joe, you didn't take Pat Freiermuth. That was weird.
I have Pat Freiermuth in 50% of my drafts. He was one of the people I said I was not taking this one.
Oh, you
None
said
of the
that
ones I had
yourself?
my 50% that I take in this one. I wanted to make it a little different.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's a good look on you. It's fair.
So I'm going to take my last pick is a situation for tight end that I believe is amazing, and the guy who I think is going to be the starter there, and you can still get him in the last round anywhere. So,
okay. All right. I feel that.
We're going to do there. Besides, I already got two tight ends. I mean, I got Schultz and I got
again, the news is hitting. Oh man, Deshaun Vele. Shit.
You were planning on the Vele.
Yeah.
Got Mooney out there. Nice floor who's useless.
I hate Mooney, but I'm going to click him. You're right, but I'm going to click him anyway.
I would have gone with Noel instead.
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought about Noel. I thought about one of the rookies. I thought about Isaiah Bond.
There's also Bateman out there. Your bro.
Yeah. I thought about a quarterback there.
There's Deontay Thornton, the fast guy that we drafted about strictly based upon his combine rating and never did anything with the Raiders.
Hey, it happens.
I still like him as a last round floater. I'm not taking him in this round, but Deontay Thornton's a guy I float in there from time to time.
What about your boy Cedric Tillman?
Cedric Tillman's kind of dead to me because I don't think there will ever be enough time for Shador to have to throw the ball. And even if they do, the guy throws 3 interceptions on air. So
that's true.
Unless Cedric Tillman leaves to another roster, he is dead to me.
You know a guy, I have drafted this guy before, but you know the guy that's like really interesting to me?
Who's really interesting?
Devontae Walker. Baltimore wide receiver. You know, when we talk about Lamar, if the ball isn't in Lamar's hands, he's either slinging it or running it or passing it to, or getting the ball to what's his face, Derrick Henry, right? And Devontae Walker's career profile is not great. Okay, he does not catch a lot of passes, but last year he caught 6 balls, and of those 6 balls, 3 were touchdowns.
Okay.
And I just have to ask myself that if the Bateman experiment is over and if the Zay experiment wants to thrive, does a guy like Devontae Walker see the field more? Does it?
Maybe.
You know, like, I don't know. I'm taking Tez Johnson here, by the way, but I am at the point now where I am going to be probably pushing. I'm probably going to be pushing Tez Johnson. Like, instead of the Darnell Mooney pick, I'm probably going to be pushing Tez Johnson and Devontae Walker because, you know, like, the thing is, move, right over there in the 12th round. Thornton is a project. Projects do take time. I think Kubiak likes projects though too. So there's a chance that, you know, there's everybody saying that the Raiders will bring in Alec Pierce, they'll bring in Rashid Shaheed. But if Dante Thornton profiles similarly to Pierce and similarly to Shaheed, why are they going to pay the money to get those 2 guys? You know, relevantly speaking. Tillman's talent is wasted on the Browns. I almost clicked Isaiah Bond there too, because he's another guy that had a low output reception total last year, but he's definitely a guy that I think is worth considering. But also, family, when it comes to Las Vegas receivers, and we're going to go over this draft board in a minute, Joe. When it comes to Las Vegas receivers, I'm also taking more chances on Trey Tucker. I told you guys this last time, is that his output, he's another guy who had a banger of a game, like 3 touchdowns, 43 points. And I have to ask myself that if a competent coaching staff sees a player with a terrible quarterbacking situation, but sees a player and says, holy crap, we have a guy that can catch 3 touchdowns on our team and not use him, then that coaching staff is just as incompetent as the one before it, and they should lose their job. Right? the guy can play. But like the thing is, right? When we look at Devontae Walker, okay, when we look at where they drafted him in the 4th round, 113th overall in the 2024 draft. When we look at Tez Johnson, they drafted him in the 7th round of the 2025 draft. But even in the 7th round of the 2025 draft last year, because of all the injuries, he ended up getting 28 receptions and 5 touchdowns. And I can't get over that marker, because here's the thing that I want to say, right? Is if I'm looking for a back end flex play, we know that in order to hit your yearly threshold, you need your wide receivers on average to get about 15 to 16 points, preferably 16. And you need your flex to get about 10. Okay. When I look at the games where Tez Johnson smacked, I see 4 receptions, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns. 3 receptions, 21 yards, 1 touchdown. 1 reception, 45 yards, 1 touchdown. 4 receptions, 59 yards. You are either at the cusp or right there at being flex relevant. And if he becomes flex relevant, then I have to assume that some of my other guys also become flex relevant as well, in a way. You know, hey, it could be nothing, right? The 2025 draft, I think that last year when we look at the 2025 draft, because we thought that, okay, from a talent perspective, these rookies have the chance to hit, everybody overdrafted rookies. Now
Yes.
now the market is equalizing itself right now.
Well, the market's been burnt. I mean, that's the way it is.
Where you see people that aren't running podcasts or not doing months and months of research, that you're coming in and you're seeing these rookies and you're like, I don't want that. But
there's a couple reasons for it. Golden did not have a good year last year as a first-round wide receiver, so that hurts you a lot. The number Hunter got hurt, and then obviously the year before that, Marvin Harrison did nothing. So the start of, we look at this draft that just happened, the 5th round is where the first-round receivers in April are going. I personally think that's still a little too high. They got good prospects in that.
I think that price makes sense, and here's why. Because when you're looking at, am I going to take them a lot in the 5th round? Maybe if I started with 2 or 3 wide receivers or 2 wide receivers and then went 2 running backs and wanted to take a chance on one of the rookies in the 5th round, sure. But let's say I wanted Lemon or I wanted Tyson, right? Who are going neck and neck with one another, and I'm passing on Carnell Tate. I'm passing on the OSU wide receivers. Let's say I take Tyson or Lemon, and I don't want to take them as early as the 5-4, but I could definitely see myself taking a chance on Tyson or Lemon over Odunze a little bit more, or over McLaurin a little bit more, or over Christian Watson a little bit more. I still like McLaurin and Watson a lot because they do have a lot of touchdown equity within the current iteration of their team. Mm-hmm. Now, and here's the other reason why I don't feel that Tyson and Lemon are very far off from McLaurin and Watson. When we look at the outcomes for rookie wide receivers, right? We're talking that a decent year for a rookie wide receiver is somewhere between 600 and 900 yards.
Yeah, and that's not going to cut
it. But hold on.
If that's a veteran 12th round, that's Darnell Mooney, and you just took him in the last round.
But listen, if you are an exceptional rookie wide receiver, you are then hitting that 1,000-yard marker, and you are potentially getting six to 7 touchdowns, right? So when I look at that market and I see the 5th round there, okay, just looking at it from a player capital perspective, Joe, the variance between Christian Watson and Tyson doesn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I work at a school. I'm sorry. The variance of Tyson to Watson is not as large of a gap as you might picture to be on paper at first, right? Because Watson has so much equity in the touchdown game, he's going to have to really, be a slam dunk at that ADP for you to want to do that. Because last year, Watson coming in halfway through the season, coming off the injury, mind you, big injuries in his career as well, is that he's looking at he played 10 games, and in those 10 games, he had a touchdown in 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, but he only had 35 receptions. That is not so far away from a floor for a guy like Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon. Then you look at Terry McLaurin's high output. Terry McLaurin's high output is always his floor and his high output are very similar, but
that means he's not a good basketball player.
But McLaurin's going to hit your 1,000-yard threshold, right?
No, that's why, again, that's my argument why you haven't seen me take very many rookies with the exception of Jeremiah Love.
No. I get it. But what I'm saying is you said earlier, you just said that you thought the 5th round was too high. For me, I think the 5th round is just right because that grouping of wide receivers.
Oh, man. Jacoby Myers in the 7th, I'd rather have all day.
No.
QJ, I'd rather have.
I'm telling you, you can take Jacoby Myers in the 7th and Tyson in the 5th like that guy did.
Oh, I'm saying I'd rather not take Tyson at all and just take a different position.
But that's
I think Jacoby Myers is going to outscore.
But I'm saying if you are targeting wide receiver in the 5th and 6th round, if you're targeting that wide receiver in the 5th and 6th round, you're looking at a collection of players whose outcomes, and this goes from Luther Burden all the way down to Ricky Pearsall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from Luther Burden all the way down to Ricky Pearsall, the outcomes for those players are somewhere like this: 600 to 1,100 yards, 2 touchdowns to 10 touchdowns. There's so much variance within that grouping of wide receivers that you would be doing yourself a disservice, that depending on your build, to not at least on 1 out of 20 teams take one of those rookie wide receivers over a Christian Watson, over a Rome Odunze, over a DK Metcalf. I'm not saying that they will.
Well, I'm definitely taking them over most of them because they will never be on my rosters.
I would say here, right, that Ricky Pearsall should not be in that 6th round. I love Ricky. You guys know that. But I am at the point now where I would be
Washington shouldn't be in that realm either. And your point is fair, family.
Ricky Pearsall and Parker Washington, for me, are in that same categorical grouping of wide receivers as Jacoby Myers, Alec Pierce, Quentin Johnston, Michael Wilson.
And we're going to have to wrap up the show, but I'm going to make an analogy here about the Jags offense. They are an every other year offense, a lot like it was with Cordell Stewart, for a deep cut for all you guys who are out there.
I mean, you can make that
generality. They're very good in the odd years, but in the even years, their offense disappears. You can see it clearly through Lawrence's career. So there's a very good chance, just like every other year, Jags are way on the one end of the pendulum and they go way to the other one.
Agreed.
But Bob, I do got the bounce here.
Well, I got to go too. And on Monday, Joe, I'm at 18 little boards. So
our last 2 little boards will be on Monday then.
Monday will be my last 2 little boards. And then programming note, we are most likely only doing 1 show next week, Monday. And then after that, we'll go back to 2, and we'll probably do a little bit of that DraftKings action because it's the wild, wild west over there.
Love the Wild West.
All right, everybody, like, follow, subscribe. Thanks for joining us today. We'll be back with you